Hey everyone, and welcome to a video for QuietSpeculation.com. My name is Adam, and this week we're going to be playing Velomachus Reanimator. A person by the name of Simon Uribe, I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. Username on Twitter is SuribePMTG, SURIBEPEMTG. Posted about their Alchemy challenge run, where they went 7-0 with this build of Velomachus Reanimator. And the deck looked really cool. I wanted to give it a shot. So, Velomachus, as you know, this card's seen a little bit of modern play as well in creativity style decks. So you sacrifice a creature or an artifact and you tutor out your Velomachus. Or some way of just getting into play for less than the 7 mana that normally costs. It's a 5/5 for 7 mana, flying, vigilance, haste, and when it attacks, you look at your top, I believe, 7 cards, and you can cast an instant sorcery with mana value less than or equal to Velomachus' power. So that's really cool because Velomachus can close out a game by itself, being such a beefy flying creature. It's hard for your opponent to attack back into it with vigilance, and you're going to generate some sort of massive advantage, be it with, burn down the house, Invoke Justice, getting another key permanent back. So you have a handful of cards that enable you to power up this graveyard synergy, right? You have Faithful Mending, you have Otherworldly Gaze, both of which do a pretty great job of lining up your plays. Divine Purge is your anti-aggro game plan. It's really nice because there are a lot of decks that have base black and red that are making a bunch of treasure tokens, a bunch of cheap creatures. This clears all of them out, and the tokens will not come back. So anyone playing like Bloodsaith Harvester is going to have a bad time. It'll eat your opponent's Fable the Mirror Breaker tokens. Notably, there's the Tenacious Underdog. The card can blitz from the graveyard, but Divine Purge also gives anything exiled with the permanent text comes into the battlefield tapped. So even though they can bring that card back, they'll enter tapped, it won't be able to attack. So ultimately, your opponent's going to spend 4 mana at sorcery speed to draw a card and lose 2 life, which I am much more okay with. Other notable cards, you have Key the Archive, which jumps you up from 4 to 6, potentially 7 mana. So you can fix a little bit for your Velomachus, or get some of your other just haymaker cards like Ameria's Call, Jin-Gitaxias, or Alrund's Epiphany down. The cards you can get off of this are also not irrelevant. Typically, it's going to be a removal spell. Sometimes it's Approach of the Second Sun, or even Time Warp. But most of these cards are going to be worthwhile, even though you only pick 1 of 3 at random. Another card that's impressed me a lot is this Herald of Vengeance. So it's a 5 mana 4/5 with evasion, and it destroys anything that has the same name as something that damaged you last turn. So let's say your opponent has 2 Hive of the Eye Tyrants. They power 1 up and they attack in with it. You land this and it'll blow up 2 of your opponent's lands. Considering it's very likely your opponent's going to be playing a lot of 3 and 4 ofs, especially in their more aggressive decks. This punishes every copy and can be basically a one-sided board wipe that leaves you with a 4/5 evasive threat. This card's very, very good, and every time I've resolved it, I've won the game. Burn Down the House is board wipe that can also make a handful of blockers or just hasty 1/1 creatures. When they die, they ping, so they trade really well with whatever your opponent's doing. And then the key piece of this deck is Invoke Justice. This is a 5 mana Reanimator spell. Return target permanent, so it doesn't necessarily need to be a creature like Velomachus. It could be Key of the Archive or even a land from your graveyard. And then distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among any number of creatures or vehicles target player controls. That last line of text is important, so even if your opponent has something like a Licensed Hearse, where they eat the thing that you are reanimating, you will still get the 1/1 counters divided among your permanents. So when you have these Burn Down the House tokens, when you have your Ameria's Call tokens, or even your Alrund's Epiphany tokens, you can buff those and make functionally hasty threats that your opponent wasn't necessarily expecting, adding additional power where it wasn't before. That is the deck in a nutshell. Put things in the graveyard, pluck them out, with some board wipes to bridge that gap. And notably, like with the acceleration from Key, you don't necessarily need to go for the Invoke plan. You can just hard cast your Velomachus. You can hard cast your Alrund's Epiphany. One thing to note, because this is Alchemy, you are playing with the Alchemy version of Alrund's Epiphany. So if you cast this from hand, you will not get the 1/1 tokens. You will need to foretell it. That's also important with Velomachus, because if you have your Invoke Justice put the counters on Velomachus, it can get a 7, 8, 9 drop spell off the top. But if it's the Alrund's Epiphany, you won't get the tokens from that sequence. That being said, you're getting an extra turn with your now at least 7 power flying Vigilance creature, which will likely end up killing your opponent either way. Taking a look at the sideboard, you have Valor's Stance, which protects your stuff, also can remove some of your opponent's big stuff. Reckoner Bankbuster to outgrind the control players. Another copy of Burn Down the House. Good, decently rated removal spell. A couple copies of Strangle, again, for the aggressive decks. And then for the control matchups, you have more copies of Disdainful Stroke, Negates, Test of Talents, and another Jin-Gitaxias, which I'm not quite sure why it's in here. I'm copying this list one for one from the initial build. I haven't had an opportunity to reach out to the deck designer, so I don't know what it's there for. It might just be another threat that you can cast and disrupt your opponent. It becomes very difficult for your opponent to remove this, considering they need to burn at least one spell and then have the mana left over to cast another spell to kill Jin-Gitaxias. When you're in a top deck war, it becomes exceptionally difficult for them to stop this. With that said, I'm going to hop into the ladder. I'm going to play 5 matches, and we're going to debrief after. I've played 1 game with this deck so far. We were able to take it in 3 against a Grixis control list. I'm not fully versed in all of the newer Alchemy cards, the cards designed specifically for the format. I was surprised to see a blue-black negate variant that can also let you draw a card from a spellbook if you have critical mass of different mana values in the graveyard. The card seemed very strong. That being said, we were still able to overpower our opponent. So we're gonna see how it does with the rest of the metagame. Again, this video has been brought to you by QuietSpeculation.com. Quiet Speculation is a Magic the Gathering finance website, but they also have a bunch of really cool content as far as the constructed metagame goes, and how to make the best bang for your Magic buck. So this is an interesting hand, right? I have my lands. I have this Fateful Mending to sort of filter through, hopefully bin this Velomachus, probably also bin the Jin-Gitaxias. And since Deserted Beach is a blue source, I can put this pathway on white and work toward our Invoke. Alright, with them on blue here, I think I want to just go for the Mending now. Another one? Alright, Jin-Gitaxias and Velomachus in the bin. Suspicious Stowaway. Okay, so we found the Invoke Justice. Unfortunately, my opponent is a base white deck, which is not ideal for me. Let's play this white source and cast this again. That's a nice pickup. I do want to keep at least one Velomachus in hand just in case the game goes longer. I'll bin the Velomachus and I'll put an Otherworldly Gaze in there. Get a little bit of value since it is flashback. I can use that a little bit quicker. Ooh, my opponent tapped out for this Linvala. And Divine Purge exiles, so it gets around Linvala's activated ability. So they're on like an Esper Angel, or Esper Party, sorry. Okay, I can get behind that. go ahead and cast this Divine Purge. And if my opponent wants to replay a creature on their turn, they can do so, but it'll presumably tap them out. Okay, my opponent has played a Black Market Connections. This card seems really strong. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you make a treasure, draw a card, or make a creature, but you lose life each time you do it, and it's not a May. I'm going to cast this Otherworldly Gaze to try and guarantee a land. Perfect. We're going to put Key of the Archive in the graveyard, leave the Invoke Justice second from the top, draw the land. So I'm going to invoke, get back Velomachus, attack, get back Jin-Gitaxias. Ooh, Auric and Alrund's Epiphany. Is that better? Probably not. I'll split. This gives them one more life to work with, but in the off chance my opponent's playing like Heartless Act, it saves the Jin-Gitaxias. I don't know what this card does. Look your top card anytime. You can cast party things from the top of your library. If you have full party, one counter and everything, they get that touch. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. That's not going to do it. Now it makes a little more sense why they're playing the Stowaway. It's a rogue, and why Linvala makes more sense. They're not just going for the activated abilities, they're going for the triggered ability. So my opponent's dead here, presumably? Yeah. They're just trying to figure that out. Cool. Game 1 down. I like grabbing this Strangle and another Burn Down the House. I don't think I need a Valor Stance. I think Divine Purge is just a lights out card against them. Herald of Vengeance seems pretty great. I don't think I need Jin-Gitaxias all that much, but might as well keep it. Actually, no. They have cheap creatures to swap in. Do I? Actually, I don't know if I want the Burn Down the House. If they have multiple copies of Linvala, that might actually be a detriment for me. I can trim on an Alrund's Epiphany. Presumably, landing on the Emeria's Calls will be enough of like big hits to warrant the Velomachus. I have 3 lands and a Divine Purge. Sure. I will even lead on the pass so I can hold up the Strangle. Opponent has no turn 1 play, which is great. I don't know what this card does. Cards in your hand perpetually get +1/+1. Don't love that for me. What happens when it specializes? Seek some stuff. Next creature enters with lifelink. Seek 3 non-land permanents. Put 1 in hand. Make zombies. This card seems really good. I'm going to try and just remove it. Angel of Unity perpetually makes your creatures bigger. Unfortunately, I don't have a blue source, which makes that a little awkward. But I'm pretty comfortable with holding up this... Oh, okay, that's a shame for me. Inquisitor Captain is a 5/5 that will not die to the Purge. And they get another creature in. Not a full party. Two of the three. How greedy do I want to be? I can go for the Key of the Archive. Probably not die. Demonic Tutor or Counterspell. I think I'll take a Counterspell. Discard a key. Presumably this next hit's gonna hurt. I'm looking at taking 10. And these are all just getting played off the top. So I'll go to 8. They'll keep their Inquisitor Captain, which is really bad for me. Ooh, a Velomachus. How greedy do I want to be with this? Blue, whites. Okay, that's perfect. So I'll bin a Velomachus. I'm on the draw. No, whatever, I'll bin the Crossroads. Divine Purge. Alright, so they have this Inquisitor Captain. I have a Counterspell. And I'll have a Velomachus next turn. So I feel relatively safe. They get an Usher of the Fallen. They get 2 Ushers of the Fallen. I get a Herald, which is pretty nice. But feel safest just going for the Velomachus. I have a 9/9. Ooh, okay. I'll take the extra turn. This deck doesn't seem fair. I'll go ahead and attack first before I play the key. Another Divine Purge. So now they only have the Inquisitor Captain. I could even play the Herald now and kill the Captain. Hold up Counterspell. Oh, no, never mind. I forgot. I took the extra turn, so it doesn't actually check that. Whoops. Oh well. Having the extra creature is not a bad thing in either way, or either case. All these creatures are going to come in tap, so they're not going to be relevant to the board. I can save the counterspell for when it matters. Actually, my opponent has a very well-named username, considering holding up the counterspell. Your angel will enter tapped. Okay, we did it. Turns out all you need is to cheat out a hasty 9/9 dragon and take an extra turn with it. Okay, 1-0. The interesting thing is the shell of this deck is presumably like applicable to a paper format as well. I think Pioneer is going to be a little bit more hostile. Explorer as well, just because there's, you know, the Mardu Greasefang decks and the Esper Greasefang decks. But I don't hate the idea of like cheating out of Velomachus. Of course, you don't get Key the Archive in that kind of situation. Opponent goes first. I have 3 tap lands and 4 and 5 drops. I can do a little bit better. Okay, that's a little better. Forsaken Crossroad, I'm on the draw, so it is functionally the same thing as these. I'm going to put back in a Mary's Call. I am unlikely to cast it this game. Oh, welcome back, Amaria's Call. I didn't mean what I said. Put this on white. Scry. I do have this burn down the house, but I think I still want to put the red source back. There we go. Put this on blue, and I will probably end up Faithful Mending. My opponent is on Esper Control, it looks like. Let's see if they want to counter this. No, they do not. I discard an Amaria's Call and another Worldly Gaze. No. I'll discard Amaria's Call and Faithful Mending. I'm going to go ahead and cast a Gaze here. Oh, okay. Well, let's bin both of those. Bait interaction. Okay. Now that's real bad for me. Can't say I was expecting a main board go blank. I have 4 white sources. Oh, I know this is going to be my 4th white source. Alright. Alright. I'm fairly certain that that go blank just lost me the game. I would like to stop drawing these now. Yeah. I am fairly dead. Part of me wants to scoop, but at the same time, I would like to see how they are going to kill me. Presumably they have Wandering in. Okay, that's a new one. Until you're in your next turn, whenever a creature attacks you or Tasha, put a -1/-1 counter on it. -2, target opponent puts a creature card from their graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. That creature gains Ward 2. That is exceptionally bad for me. And then -6, opponent rolls until they hit 3 creature cards, put those on the battlefield under your control. Okay, this feels like a uniquely bad matchup. Bring in some of these, some of those. Get rid of all these. Bring in these. I think I can bring in another burn down the house. Whew, boy, this matchup's atrocious. What are the cuts? Herald's probably not going to end up doing much, if I'm being completely honest. Valor's Stance is interesting. I don't think I'm going to be destroying my opponent's creatures. Like, it's going to be unlikely I'm going to kill off the Hall of the Storm Giant with it. I can trim a key. Probably trim a Herald. A Velomachus, and yeah. Okay, yeah, this seems fine. I'm on the play. We're going to lead on this Emeria. I will suspend or foretell this. I am most likely not casting these burn down the houses. Or at least not anytime soon. I think I would rather set up the white source. That's real bad for me.
I could sneak right by, but our eyes are everywhere.
Honestly, I think I put all these in the bin. I'm in real bad shape. My opponent gets to...
Now this is a juicy secret.
Unabated Kaito. Opponent reveals each non-creature, non-land card in their hand. And you make me discard a card. Yeah, that's fine. They take the stroke. Is this a go blank? It is a go blank. I'm going to take the opportunity to Underworld the Gaze, set up my next play. Honestly, that's fine. I'll put this on top. Bankbuster second from the top. I'll discard both of these. Kill off the token. Threaten the Kaito. And then rebuild with the Bankbuster? Never mind. I guess I'm just gonna rebuild with the Bankbuster. Fortunately, I know the top card, which means I can just activate immediately, play the land, and get the scry. And this sequence also protects me from, like, discard spells. I can put this one on red at this point. And there's a burn down. Don't think I want it. Alright, so all three burn down the houses are accounted for. Two are exiled, one is at the bottom of my deck. Inspired idea, and then discarding 4 cards. That... Oh no, they cleaved it. Okay. I'm cool with that. Also pretty cool with that. This is at you. That's at him. That's at you. Sure, I'll cast a Fateful Mending and put 2 cards in my graveyard.
Ah, the fun just started.
Would have loved to have hit the Orange Epiphany. But it is what it is. Do you have another Depopulate? Or Shatter the Sky? That is empty. Can I sneak a game off of you? It is unlikely, but possible. Farewell, destroy everything. Yeah. Okay. I'm in danger. That is a good one to counter, though. Alright. Tasha, I do not have a graveyard currently.
Whatever little quest you're on, give it your best shot, adventurers.
I am not going to Otherworldly Gaze on my turn. Just to avoid a potential blowout with this Tasha.
I know some sickening magic.
Orange and a Bank Buster. I'll bin both of these. This ult at next turn. Okay. You know what? I had to actually cast, or I should have set up the land first. I can't play around Jawari, but it won't matter. Yeah. Alright, I am dead. They're gonna ult the Tasha and kill me. Fair. I feel like I am uniquely suited to lose that match. We're 1-1. Not gonna beat the deck that reanimates from my graveyard and hates my graveyard and has infinite counter spells and removal. That's not gonna happen. But we got close. We were able to assemble the combo, just not close out with it. And I think that's perfectly reasonable. This hand's slow, but it'll do. At least the mana's really good. Play the Storm, Carve Coast. The question is, do I want a Fateful Mending, or do I want to foretell this Alrund's Epiphany? Tenacious Underdog. pack this away. I think it lines up my next couple sequences a little bit better. I can get this key into Herald if I don't draw the Wrath effect. Alright, didn't draw the Wrath, but that's probably fine. Approach or Helix. Now that's interesting. I think I'm going to take the Helix. If they have an answer for this Key of the Archive, Helix is still very castable, which it seems like they do. And it will also net me a little bit of life. Alright, kill 2 of your creatures, make a thing you can't attack into. And then I can blow up the Skyclave for a 4/4 blocker. Okay. Alright, I need to kill that. I'll go for the mending first. They discarded a land, so they found a land. Linessa. They're Liessa. I'm actually okay with that. They can get their Skyclave back after this, but I'll still get a 2-for-1. And it's not like any permanent other than my my archive gets eaten by the Skyclave apparition. They do get both of these back though, which is maybe I should have sequenced that better then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think making the 4/4s is probably still better than the extra turn right now. This does have a 4/5 body with lifelink, so no sense in attacking in. But they also can't attack back. They will get to connive here. Fortunately, I don't actually have a hand for them to rip apart, and they're just swapping land for land. They get a Nadar, which level are they at? They can make something smaller, or they can dome me for 1. Yeah, that's fine. Ooh. Now that's an interesting choice. Attack with the Velomachus. Now that's strange. So I can invoke, get back a land, or get back Herald. Which is probably good enough. Me. let's make both of these 5 power. Actually, all 3 of these 5 power. So here are a bunch of creatures you can't trade with. And unless you have an answer for all of them, you're dead next turn. Because I get to cast this Alrund's Epiphany. Precipitous drop. Sure. You complete a dungeon, draw a card. So that does buff your team. Velomachus actually does not do anything at this point because it can't find a... Ooh. So they have an active Rafine, but I don't think they're attacking with this team. Doesn't make sense to. Let's go for the mending. I think I'm supposed to ditch the key. Scry. White source. I have 3 red sources, plenty of white. I'll do blue. Bottom that. No attacks. I will hand to them, Precipitous Drop was real important there. Attacking with the Laessa is not gonna do it. Double block the Laessa. Let's see if my opponent knows about the Alrund's. Nope, they just have another Laessa. I guess that makes sense. These don't have vigilance, which is kind of notable. Let's go ahead and just cast this, make some 1/1s. No attacks, unfortunately, and no second mana source. It's still an unsafe attack for my opponent right now. I don't know what they get back. They get back another Nadar? Adventurer, maybe? Really? They went for the Laessa. Alright. Sure. Excuse me. We are starting to flounder a little bit. I'll block the Laessa. I don't think I want to block the Gargoyle. Because they just get it back to their hand. At the end of turn. And then can explore again. Maybe I should have attacked with the birds? Make some more angels. Sure, I'll attack like this. Alright, opponent goes to 6. I am at a precarious 7. But I do have some indestructible blockers. Which creature can attack? An angel? Sure. You get a creature. Kill the Nadar, block here. Pretty much guaranteed to have another Nadar in hand. Oh, they cast 3 of them. Why would you play a Liesa and sacrifice it? That doesn't make sense to me. Did I miss something? This is actively awful for me. Oh, okay. They're off it. So they block 2 of these. They take 4. They take 8. They're still winning. I like Valorous Stance against all of these things happening. Strangle seems fine against their 3 mana 3/3s. And I can take a burn down the house. Don't know if I need negates. They are on blue. I can assume there's probably some counterspells on the board. Jin-Gitaxias doesn't seem amazing again. Starting to question why Jin-Gitaxias is in the list. Doesn't seem as important, but I guess it's another target for this Invoke. Key is my only thing that gets eaten by Skyclave Apparition, but they might be siding those out or down. Be on the safe side, I will trim. Presumably they also have some graveyard hate of some kind. Maybe Rest in... No, this is Alchemy. They don't have Rest in Peace. And cut it into Maria's. And I'll go down to 1 key. Why not? This might be incorrect, but I think it's probably fine. Opponent goes first. I have Divine Purge and Valorous Stance, which are great. Verbin Crossroads will be an untapped white source. Hopefully I will draw an untapped white source so I can use the Crossroads for the Scry later on. Not a white source. Very much not a white source. I think I value the scry more than I do suspending the all runs at this point. And fortunately we hit it. I think I like foretelling this over Valorous Stance and killing this. Divine Purge, clean up both of these creatures. Which I think I like a little bit more, even though it does allow the Diviner to come back and trigger again. Ooh, and a burn down the house. Not a bad card for later. Alright, so they get their Diviner again, which, like, not amazing, but we've still slowed them down. They could have played a Rafine. Now that's pretty surprising to me. I like this Otherworldly Gaze. I'm going to cast it in their end step, presumably. Question is, do I want to Valorous Stance and kill this? Or do I want to try and hit a Liesa? Target opponent discards a card. You know what? That is fine. I will discard this Gaze. And then I'll discard a Herald. And leave up the burn down the house. Sure. Show me lands. Those are lands. I think I can discard those two. Let's deal 5 damage to everything and then have you counter it. Yeah. Playing this one instead of this one is pretty telling for me. Now that is an issue. Gains
I am
Ward
the
2.
master of the dead here.
Seven, 8, 9. Yeah, that is real bad for me. I do have a Faithful Mending, which is not irrelevant. I am surprised my opponent chose to do that. You can get a treasure token. I will destroy Herald. If they have a counterspell, I'm dead. And it seems like they do. But there's nothing I can do about it. Or if they just have another Tasha's. They really should have waited to activate Tasha's until post-combat. Why am I saying Tasha's? Tasha. They should wait to have another Tasha activation. If they have the counterspell here, I am dead. And it seems likely. No. Cool. Trade your board. Yeah, that's fine. Minus on Tasha again. Why? You could have minus the Tasha, stolen the creature, and then done that. Alright, well now you're still presenting lethal, so it's not going to matter. Until your next turn, whenever a creature attacks you or Tasha, put a -1/-1 counter on it. Good to know. Oh, I actually need a target permanent in the graveyard to do it. That sucks. Yeah. Pass back. Don't think I'm winning this one. Don't think I can play around and go blank, because I need to have the options for Faithful Mending. I'll go to 1. I'm dead to a kill spell. Also just dead to a token. Yeah, I'm dead. Oy. Good to know that these are in their top end. I think I need the negates. It seems like they side out most of their creatures. So they have the ones that snowball. They definitely side out their Skyclaves. I think I can keep a Disdainful Stroke. Do I care about Test of Talents? Not especially. Strangle is probably still fine. It kills the... this thing. Herald is so bad for me. Not Herald. Tasha is so bad for me. I think I can probably actually trim on a Divine Purge. Right? I think they trimmed their top end as well. Probably just get rid of all of those, to be totally honest with you. I can cut Invoke, I can trim on Epiphany. Maybe I'm not really presenting a cohesive sideboard here, but if they have Negate, I feel really bad about tapping out to cast some of these bigger threats. Okay. Amaria's Call tapped. Turn 2, I'm going to play the Bank Buster. Alright. Undercity Plunder. You can take a Herald. You can take a Mending. Nice. Maybe I should have given them the all runs. Sure, that's fine. Notably, my Bankbuster does get hit by that 3-mana artifact. Ooh, they have Vanishing Verse as well. I don't... This isn't good. It doesn't hit the Velomachus. I would like to stop drawing these now. I'm just gonna hide away the Allruns now. Sure. Play the second Bankbuster. And now my opponent can't attack in unless they want to try and kill off this Bankbuster. Crew this one. Make a 4/4. Block. Sure, you get a Wandering Emperor. Herald does damage to me. Okay. That's fine. I will kill off the Wandering Emperor. Presumably also cast this Faithful Mending, bin the Velomachus. Yeah, go on ahead. They certainly have a counterspell. Ooh, I also have a counterspell. I'm gonna hope to hit another land. That way I can invoke with the negate back up. Which I did. I see your negate and I raise you my negate. I'm going to leave behind the Bankbuster just to be able to crew it if absolutely needed. The Mayor's Call is a great pickup. Notably, it also makes my Velomachus indestructible. Cool. They're off it. Okay, we're 2-1. The reworked Tasha is really, really strong. The plus does protect itself in, like, I would say a relatively minor way, but it's great against a very wide board as opposed to a very tall board. But that being said, if your opponent's going tall, they presumably have something worthwhile to pluck out of the graveyard. This hand is very straightforward. If my opponent doesn't mess with it, I have a turn 5 Velomachus. I'll lead on the pass. Island Mending into Invoke in a turn or two. Maybe this deck wants, like, Prismari Command. Oh, that's really bad for me. They probably take the Invoke. They take the Mending? Okay. Does that mean they have an answer to the Invoke? I'll put that back in the graveyard. Draw the beach. Maybe they have something that hates out my graveyard. I guess we'll find out. I'm going to go for an Otherworldly Gaze here over the Mending. I don't really want either of these. Sure, I guess we're taking the Invoke. Undercity Plunder. Sure. You can take a random card from my deck. I hope it's uncastable. Well, considering I was going to discard that to the Faithful Mending, ooh. Pin the Mending, leave Beach on top. Alright, show me the Jawari, which you almost certainly have. Test of Talents? Wow. So that's a hard cast, my Velomachus. It's not a lights out here, but ooh, that is rough. Main deck Test of Talents. Do get a Mending. They also shuffled away the Alrund's Epiphany, which I suppose is probably fine. Sure, you can take the Mending. And a random card. Cool, you got a land. Alright. Eat those. Hide away this. Protect my hand. What does this do? Tap out to 1 non-land permanent, draw a card, then you exile 2 of these from your graveyard. When you do, bring it back. Okay. When you discard it, conjure a card 7 from the top. Okay. A land would be amazing here. An untapped land would be amazing. Is this an untapped land? Guess we're gonna find out. It is not. Though, I don't hate having an Amarius Call on top either. Alright, I'm dead. Is Tasha just in every deck now? Is that how this works? We played, what, 3 different people with this card? Okay. Bring in these, take out these. Probably take out this as well. Key is probably fine. Do I want a Jenga Taxes? Or is that bad news bears for me? My opponent has an Edict and cheap spells, and this is a 5/6. So Burn Down the House isn't even all that great. I guess I can bring in a Valor Stance. We saw spot removal, right? Hogger Mauling. Yeah. Trim Amending. Probably trim on a Jenga Taxes, can probably trim on an Epiphany. We are playing against decks that are very good against us. But I think we're doing alright still. This is the 1-lander, we're going to send it back. This is 2-lander, we can keep it. Now the question is whether or not I want to hold on to this Invoke. I think I can ship the Invoke. Let's go for the Otherworldly Gaze and just try and hit our land drops. I think this is actually fine. Play that tapped. Opponent only has 1 blue source up. I think this is better served as blue. I would like to not have you have Atasha's. Play a key. Presumably discard the Mending. Ooh, Time Walk. Or Time Warp. Discard the Mending. Another Tasha's. Don't have anything in my graveyard.
Fight. Perfect.
But I do
Give
have
it your best
Velomachus.
shot, adventurers.
Unfortunate.
Ugh, I hope you washed your hands first.
I have 4 white sources. Yeah. Put this on blue. Don't need another land.
Don't try anything cheeky now.
Under City Plunder, they eat the Time Warp. I can take out the Tasha's. All you left with a 3/3 Velomachus. Hoping that's going to be enough. Okay. I can get behind that. Sure.
You achieved what few have. Victory.
Doesn't actually make me discard or sacrifice the artifact, right? Creature, planeswalker, enchantment. Yeah. Set up the Otherworld Gaze. I don't think I want either of these. Got the Velomachus. They don't have a counter, which is beautiful. Amaria's Call. Okay. I feel like I am in good shape at this point. Even if they have a Wrath effect, it's not going to kill everything. Extinction Event won't kill my board. And traditional destroy everything is not going to work with the Velomachus having indestructible. Okay. On to game 3. Do I want to make any changes? So they're still playing Invoke Despair. They have at least 2 copies of Tasha. Do I think they're gonna counter my stuff? Probably. Like, still. Is Burn Down worth it? Probably not. What did I show them? Okay. Didn't show them the Valor stance. I think I'm still okay with this. Two-lander with Negate and Faithful Mending seems like a keep. I still have this Jin-Gitaxias. Ooh. And a Bank Buster? I think I still want to leave up Negate. Don't think I need the Faithful Mending here. Sure, you can take Jin-Gitaxias and Otherworldly Gaze. I don't think I need any of those, to be completely honest. And I would like to play the Bank Buster instead of the Key to hold up Negate. Because I don't want to die to Tasha. Tap a permanent. Yeah, that's fine. I think I can Faithful Mending here. You can discard these two. Round time. I really wish new Jin-Gitaxias had flash like old Jin-Gitaxias. That might be asking for a little too much, though. Opponent does not have any creature lands they need to worry about, which is pretty nice. They didn't Takenuma to find their Calyx, which is surprising. Don't love that for me. Well, I'm going to lose to Tasha plus Counterspell Backup, which seems like it's a recurring theme in this format. Okay, fair enough. This is going to counter when I play an artifact as well, so I might as well discard it to the... or discard the key to it.
Let's make this snappy. I'm busy.
Gains Ward 2. Really don't like that part. Still probably better off going for the draw here. Yep. Otherworldly Gaze. Sure. That leaves room to be able to cast Gaze, then Key. I also will be able to... No, I can't attack the Tasha next turn. Never mind. If I draw another Bank Buster... No, still no. Counter this. Divide by 0. Target the Bank Buster. Both targeting the key. So one will fizzle. So I have a Siphoner. Probably should take the Plunder, but alright. That's going to lock me out of the game. Because each future one will be able to counter my spell, bounce the Cyber Siphoner back to hand. Okay. What are we, 1 and 2? 2 and 2? I'll double check now. Not gonna lie, this has been a rough run. I don't know if the metagame has adapted to like specifically hate out these Reanimator style decks, but Tasha seems just brutal to anything we're trying to do. We've played against 3 of them. Alright. This is the last one. Let's see if we can take home the gold. I feel like this interaction is very strong, but it's very easily hated out. And so it really needs the right set of circumstances to shine. So I have 1, 2, 3 white sources available. I'll lead on the blue source so I can hold up the... or I can play the Mending next turn. Dragons? I've not seen this in quite a while. Though Herald's going to be phenomenal. As a way to just claw our way back. Not just being a 4-5 versus a bunch of decks that are going to be mainly 4-4s. Oh, these have haste. Did my opponent attack with this last turn? They must have. Alright. We drew lands. I think I can bin the Emera's Call at this point. Notably, they have a blue splash. So, is that for an Admizzet, Sideboard counterspells, or Gazalith Prismari in Sideboard counterspells? Don't love that for me. Townraiser Tyrant. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Okay, that will save us. Nice, save our life total. Play this Purge. Play this on white. Scry 1. Don't think I need the otherworldly gaze. I'll take the 2. So if my opponent has a gold span here, I'm in danger. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Into an Orb of Dragonkind. I think playing the Herald, sacrificing that land is probably going to be alright. With one time, Ancient Copper Dragon. Alright. They will be able to cast that next turn, but it's not going to have haste. Or not next turn. They can attack him with this, and then... Okay, never mind. Let's see if my dragon beats your dragon. I will take another turn. I don't think I've drawn like non-lands at this point. Yeah, let's hit you again. Okay. Or we can just get really lucky and combo kill you. So how much do I value killing the whelps? What is the text reading now? At the beginning of your upkeep, makes them cost less. Strangle feels really bad otherwise. Divine Purge is not doing much. It gets rid of the Fable tokens. And those, I think these can be Strangles. I like a Disdainful Stroke. They have blue, presumably sideboard counterspells. So, bring in a negate, trim on a key. Because they saw key, I assume they're going to try and kill it. Ooh, I forgot I have Valor Stance. Alright, so we're going to trim more keys. No, I think we keep the Jinka taxes. One Strangle is probably enough. I don't expect them to have anything else in the 2 and 3 slot creature-wise other than Fable and the Whelp. They're going to have the Orb Dragonkind, but I think I can get past that pretty reasonably. I have this Faithful Mending, and I have my Heralds. Hopefully they are able to land before I am dead. Tapland is interesting. This is a slow start for them. My assumption is they're probably on a more reactive hand right now. So I have my Jinka Taxis, which I probably still bin here. Play 3rd white source. think now I can go blue source. Stop before combat. Destroy target creature. Oh, that's right, and it's the new one, so targeting is not going to hurt me the way it normally should. Pretty into that. Maybe I should have let them hit me and then just played the Herald. Now it's looking like they might be... Oh no, never mind. I thought this was the black one. I'm like, this might be a Tiamat deck? But no. They definitely have a counterspell here. I wonder if they have two. They do have an Odawara. I don't know what this card does. Whenever you cast an Adventure or Dragon, it deals damage equal to that spell's mana. Okay. And this actually does not die the Valo. But now they only have 2 mana available. Further counterspell. So... this is any target that isn't a commander. Neat. And they're scooping. Cool. Okay, so that is the end of the video. We wound up going 3-2, which... all said and done, not the worst. I have reservations about bringing this deck to some sort of like Alchemy event if the metagame is just Tasha Tribal. I don't have as much of an ear to the meta right now, especially with the recent changes to make like a full call like that. But I think this deck is solid. It does what it wants to do well, but has some difficulty with the interaction. Surprisingly, there was no like Graveyard Trespasser or other Graveyard Hate that you would expect to see. It really comes down to Tasha just being so unbelievably rough for you. Turning off Velomachus, doing its combo, or just stealing it outright. Same thing with the Jin-Gitaxias. Even your Burn Down the House tokens or your Arn's Epiphany tokens will not be able to attack the Tasha. So maybe future iterations of this would need to play like Fable of the Mirror Breaker, or some additional like disruption. I'm not 100% sure. I think the initial shell is fine and a good starting point, but we'll need to adjust based off the meta adjusting to it. I love the Test of Talents and the negates. I don't like the Jin-Gitaxias. I don't think that it's necessary. Bankbuster was phenomenal, as always. I'm not sure what I would do instead of the Jin-Gitaxias. Maybe something more of like a additional mid-range threat. Interesting decision tree there. That being said, thanks so much for watching. This video has been brought to you by QuietSpeculation.com. Quiet Speculation is a Magic the Gathering finance website, but we have a bunch of really cool stuff as far as constructed metagames, deck guides, really runs the gamut. You can check out all my previous work there. You can also check us out on YouTube, where this video is going to be hosted, as well as the Quiet Speculation website. And you can follow me and all my stuff on Twitter at Adam E. Cohen. Thanks so much for watching. I will learn to speak in the near future. Have a great day, and I'll see y'all next week.